climate change and attribution processes. He studied meteorology at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and obtained his PhD in atmospheric science with specialization in numerical weather prediction, seasonal climate prediction, and regional climate modeling at the University of Cape Town, South Africa. He was the pioneer general manager of the pioneer general manager of the numerical weather prediction unit of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET. Presently, he's a research associate at the UCT's Climate and Development Initiatives. He's also a thematic expert on climate change at the African Center for Meteorological Applications and Development, ACMAD in Miami. Dr. Lawal is going to take us on today's webinar. He will speak for 30-35 minutes, and then we'll have interaction session. But before then, let me call on the president of Nigerian Meteorological Society, Professor Debo Adeyewa, to give some sort of opening remarks before we roll on. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Professor Emmanuel Kogwe, the chair for our webinar series. We thank you for the good job that you have done to ensure that we have this at this very time. I would want to say that for our distinguished colleagues, respected scholars, practitioners, the professionals, students, and invited guests, on behalf of the Nigerian Meteorological Society, NMS, I want to welcome you warmly to this very important webinar today. The webinar today sits at the intersections of science, politics, ethics, justice, and the global responsibility. So it has become so important because it's a cross intersection kind of thing. And it's very, very important for climate change science to see that we are not just looking at science, but societies around us. So on that note, I want to really appreciate that we have today Dr. Kamaru Lawal, Abiodun Lawal, is a veteran in the field of meteorology, climate science, the computer meteorology. So we are having him, and that is very wonderful thing for us. He's going to speak on the topic, the politics of climate attribution, the science, policy, accountability, and justice. And today, I want us to listen carefully because this is a forerunner to our conference, which is coming up in the next few weeks. You see, for regions such as Africa, where vulnerability is so high, and variability and the extremity is so high, we need to ask so many questions, not only at the local level, at the global level, on application, financing, losses, damages, debates on climate science and attribution. It is therefore wonderful to have this erudite scholar and also an accomplished professional to take us on this topic. As you listen to him, I want you to keep in mind that here we're talking about climate science and policy interface. We're talking about attribution science. We're talking about event attribution and accountability, for which we should be getting some money on financial issues. Data computational capacity for Africa, risk of resizing science, and it's already happening, bridging local impacts and global narratives, future directions for young scientists, so that we know that it doesn't just end here. So today, I'm confident that Dr. Lawal's presentation will illuminate both the scientific, the political, the legal, and the broad scientific societal implications of climate attribution. So at the end of the day, we'll understand and we can guide responsible action. So on this note, I welcome you all to this simulating and enlightening session. If you are here online already and you know colleagues who are not here yet, please let's call them. Let's invite them. This is something that will really help us at the end of the day. Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, thank you, President NMET-S, Dr. Professor Debo Adeyewa, for that fantastic opening remarks. I invite Dr. Kamaru to please share your slides and let's start the webinar. Like I said, you'll help us manage within 30 minutes, that's 5 minutes, because there will also be interactions and questions and all that. So, Dr. Kamaru, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Prof. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The President of Nigerian Meteorological Society, the Secretary General, and all the executives. Thank you very much. Thank you, all the audiences. As rightly said, my name is Lawal Kamaru Abiodun, a climate change thematic expert at the African Center of Meteorological Application for Development, ACMAD, in Niamey, Niger Republic. So I'm now going to share my screen. I'm making efforts to share my screen now so that
Yes.
okay. Yeah. Now we put in presentation mode. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can see my screen.
Okay. Yes, it's there. So just do slides.
Okay.
Show.
So nice. So the title for today is The Politics of Climate Attribution. And this will be dissected into the science, the policy, accountability, and justice. As rightly said, this is part of the webinar series 7 of the Nigerian Meteorological Society. So, starting from the aim of this presentation, the aim is we're trying to make it clear for us to understand the scientific link between human actions and climate change is not just a scientific affair alone. Linking scientific human action to climate change is not just a scientific endeavor. So it is more than that, and it is deeply embedded in legal, economic, and political discussion, not only in Nigeria, but all over the globe. So we start with the introduction to the climate change, the scientific part of it. For those of us that still have 1 or 2 questions about it. Here, everybody, whenever the word climate change is mentioned, the first thing that goes into our mind is the global temperature rise. Yeah, the temperature is rising, the temperature is rising. Yeah, nice, the temperature is really rising, really rising. All global surface temperature, be it the analysis, be it the construction, be it models, be it practical observation, everything points towards rising. So this shows that the Earth is really warming up. And within 1989 and now, we've experienced the 20 warmest years. And all of the 10 warmest within the 20 are within the past 12 years. And recently, our recent 2024 was the warmest year on record. But like we say, science may not be perfect at times because most of the models we use to project into the future aren't saying the same thing. But the only thing most of them are saying is that there is going to be warming. And some people say scientists can't even agree among themselves. Yeah, this is what our disagreement looks like. We agree to disagree, and we disagree to agree on many occasions. So you can see that this picture is pointing to warming, irrespective of whatever climate model you are running in your laboratory. So, come on, okay. So our precious carbon dioxide has been blamed for the global warming. And scientifically, this gas is increasing day by day, month by month, year by year, decade by decade. It's increasing rapidly, probably because of our activities. Because as of this morning, there is hardly any of human activities that doesn't yield carbon dioxide. And these are the key indicators of a changing climate system. The temperature is warming up. The ocean has started experiencing marine waves. Our sea, the levels are rising. The glacier covering the peak of our mountain, take Kilimanjaro, for example, the glaciers are melting. This is not peculiar to Africa alone. Even in Europe, the glaciers are melting. And our precipitation is becoming more and more erratic. While it is increasing over there, it is decreasing somewhere else. So then the vulnerability differs according to your location. While some are still better off now, some of us are worse off. Then agricultural productivity is declining year by year, meaning that the less privileged in terms of finance and technology will suffer most. So our changing climate is the real challenging time of our moment because there is a threat to our ambition. We couldn't achieve sustainable development because the climate is rapidly changing. The global poverty head count is increasing year by year. Third world countries, regarded as lower income countries, are suffering seriously from natural disasters and with no commensurable financial might to mitigate these disasters. As the atmosphere is warming up, we are targeting to cap it at 1.5 degrees centigrade, which is still manageable. But presently, some cities and countries are already above 2 degrees Celsius, meaning that the target is closing rapidly. And delaying action could be so dangerous, and it could be so catastrophic if we delay action. So, with special peculiarity to Africa, we find out that African nations are spending enormous resources to build and maintain infrastructures. And there is no let up. They will continue to to spend a huge amount of their GDP to repair and maintain infrastructures like roads, buildings, bridges, and so many things. Take, for example, Niger, where I reside presently, is spending a whopping 87% of its GDP to repair and maintain infrastructures. Mozambique, spending the least, but it has an error gap of more than 20%. Namibia is presently spending about 50% of it, with an error gap of up to 25%. So this is really, really a very serious matter that transcends beyond you and I. And the return period shows that there is no let-up. Take, for example, the temperature, the maximum temperature return period of extreme events over Abuja. In the nearest future, Abuja may start to be experiencing 40 to 43 degrees Celsius, at least once in every 5 years, compared to below 40 we are presently experiencing. Just yesterday, we experienced 41 in Abuja. So it's closing in. Then when we go to rainfall, that is projected to increase in total amount over Abuja. Yeah, good news. I could hear some farmers among us. They are very happy. But any structure that must have a lifespan of greater than 10 years must be able to withstand an extreme rainfall event of greater than 130 millimeters per day. From all the climatic scenarios, RCP 2.6 to 8.5, they show that there is likely to be a reduction to about 110 mm per day in the nearest future. That's a good news. But that is not a good news for the agricultural sector. As you all know, we have to eat. So, in summary, for the climate change attribution, everything started from our weather observation. Every 30 minutes or 1 hour, you see a weather observer going into an enclosure, taking all sorts of measurements. You see our scientists sitting down in their laboratory, defining all sorts of extreme events, allocating statistical algorithms to define the extreme events, utilizing different physical methods, simulating models in advance, then coming up with an emergency impact that are likely to be as a result of all these activities I've mentioned. Then all these are being communicated to the relevant stakeholders. So you can see that from the angle of the National Met Services and some other scientists, they are really, really doing their job. Their constitutional responsibilities. They are really, really performing that. But it doesn't stop there. It doesn't have to stop on the shelf. So, therefore, the policies of climate attribution is very, very complex. It's a complex interplay of science, law, and policy in assigning responsibility for climate change and its impact. The atmosphere is warming up rapidly. Something has to be held responsible. Someone has to pay for all the damages. So, and there comes, the science is doing its part, and there comes the law and the policy. So, these are the simple extreme event attribution algorithmic processes. We have defined an extreme event attribution. Relevant stakeholders, be it in economic and politics, they were informed. Just as they are using their influence to get money, more and more extreme events are surfacing. And these are affecting vulnerable countries that are the least developed. Therefore, political negotiation keeps going on year in, year out about how much money these high-income countries will contribute, because they are the largest emitters of carbon dioxide. But they are refusing to pay up. So the political negotiation is still going on, but the extreme event cannot wait. It doesn't wait for anybody. So now comes the legal challenge and accountability. How do you link human activities to specific climate impacts and extreme weather events? We've tried all sorts of statistical algorithms to do that. Thousands of publications, peer-reviewed publications year and year. International panel on climate change are doing their best to convince governments worldwide, funders worldwide. Or is that enough? Never enough. Take, for example, the occurrence of late onset of rainfall that occurred in Nigeria in 2015. Yes, so many of us may not notice that it was very, very catastrophic in 2015 when rainfall started very late throughout the entire country. Because as at May 2015, even the southern part that should have been experiencing rainfall, they had more than 40% deficit of rainfall that year. Yeah, you can see the analysis. The panel A on top shows that the observed position of the ITD is far lower, is far southerly to the range of possibilities where ITD should reside within those months. Now, who do we hold responsible? Scientifically, we blame it on SST as usual. Yeah, the SST was warmer than usual, then therefore it kept the ITD from moving northward. Then, yeah, brilliant. But what else beyond that? Another statistical algorithm, risk ratio, due to anthropogenic emission. And all the statistical algorithm pointed to the fact that, okay, if we cannot blame human activities for the movement of the ITD from moving to its usual position during those months, we might as well not be able to convince any judge or any outsider that we are not responsible for the SST being warmer than normal. But another statistical algorithm is here, which we call risk ratio due to anthropogenic emission. They all show us that the chance of dry months due to emission increases during those months. So meaning that in Nigeria specifically, we have to be on the watch out for the way we emit all these greenhouse gases. There comes regulatory debates and disclosure. We have political push for increased transparency in climate data or any climate-related data. Climate-related data are very precious. And in some countries, they categorize it as a state security property. Nigeria shouldn't be an exception. But who is paying for all these data sets? I'm sure if you ask NIMET today, you may not get a clear answer. But I'm very sure the Nigerian population are paying for this data set. You and I, the government, extra ministry agencies, and departments. But I believe that we can do more in order for this climate-related data to be freely available to you and I. It is when this is freely available that we can conduct more and more research into this issue of changing climate. Then here comes the political interference in science. The politics and science go hands in hands. No sane government will leave scientists alone to do whatever they want to do. So our activities as scientists are being regulated by our political leaders. And this has been leading to disputes over scientific information. Okay, release this, keep this aside. Release this, keep this aside. There are laws guiding what and what scientists can release to the members of the public. And this has led to so many concessions as a result of political pressure from the state. So many scientific information cannot be made available to the members of the public because of the fear of the backlash it might attract. So this means that when we talk in terms of climate attribution, the battle has shifted away from the laboratory to a political battleground. It has shifted a long time ago to a political battleground. If you can remember clearly, you can hear all those powerful countries pulling out of this treaty, pulling out of that treaty. So that is the effect of the political battleground we are talking about. Now, coming back home in Nigeria. This is the governance structure that is designed for our climate change in Nigeria, being headed by His Excellency the President, followed by the Federal Executive Council, the Honorable Minister for Environment, then answerable to the Minister at the Interministerial Committee on Climate Change. Then the states through their governor and local government authorities. Then also answerable to the Interministerial Committee are the donors, the coordinators, the private sectors, the civil organization, NGO, the academias. Then directly answerable to the Minister of Environment are the Senate Committee on Climate Change and Ecology. Now, if you look at this structure very well, where is the role of the National Meteorological Service here? So that meaning that their role is secondary. It is whenever they need them, they call them for an advice. And the moment they feel they have listened to them, they shut them out of the door. This is not supposed to be. We must start to get things right from this moment. And there comes the international cooperation and responsibility. The reason being that weather and climate has no boundary. They respect no national or international boundary. You cannot formulate a law telling a cloud over the Cameroon not to migrate or advert into the Nigerian airspace. And that's where international cooperation comes in. Series of international agreements have been signed. Targets have been reviewed. But the question is, were they honored? The EU went as far as setting ambitious emission reduction goals. Do they honor it? Even worldwide, let me not talk of locally. Now is the issue of gender. Our women, they are grossly underrepresented, and they are the most vulnerable. If there is an extreme event now, me as a man, I can run. Well, I can't compare myself to a woman who has so many responsibilities or probably some children to carry along, to escape faster the way I've been able to escape from the calamity. So women, and presently our women are underrepresented, especially when it comes to climate financing. In fact, despite their significant vulnerability to climate impact. So this act of political disparity is revealing. Very, very revealing. Now, these two pictures you are seeing, technically they are the same thing. The one on the left stops at 2024. This is an average temperature anomaly over African continent. That stops at 2024, showing you that 2024, so far so good, is the warmest over Africa. The other one on the right is the 2025. So, meaning that so far so good, our 2024 being the warmest so far has confirmed the proven vulnerabilities of the African countries to the consequence of climate change. The 2025 is the second warmest. And during the 2025, only 2 African cities, capital cities, had 2025 as their warmest. These are Madagascar and Tripoli. In 2024, almost 70% of African capital cities has 2024 as their warmest. So meaning that the changing climate is already here with us, whether we like it or not. So, in short term, there are probably some recommendations that has been agreed upon worldwide, that each government should try to renovate 3 to 5% of their buildings per year, erect zero emission buildings as from 2020. We must embrace best practices in agriculture. Stop deforestation probably within 2020 and 2030. We must embrace zero deforestation, as well as embrace sustainable renewable growth, such as the use of solar panel, windmills to generate electricity. Then we have to put a stop to coal power plants. By 2025, it's a target. We must begin to phase out vehicles that are still using fuels as petrol, like petrol and diesel. These are so ambitious, but I pray Nigerian government will be able to meet all these targets. Now, nationally, we have something we call NDC, Nationally Determined Contribution. It's a pledge from the Nigerian government to the global community. Nigerian government pledge that by the end of 2030, gas flaring will stop completely. They will make sure that they have more gigawatts off grid using solar panel. They will embrace more gas generators. Then 2% per year energy efficient, rising up to 30% by 2030. We are 4 years away. Then majority of our transportation will shift from car to bus. And that specifically is achievable, because personally, I don't see a reason where like about 4 of us carry all our 4 cars to the office every morning, when we can form a pool and take just 1 car to the office and come back with it in the evening. Renewable electricity grid is being improved upon in Nigeria. And now we've started embracing climate smart agriculture, and reforestation is in progress. So with all this pledge towards the global community, you can see that Nigeria is really, really ambitious. We've started work on some, while some are still in the cooler. Now, on the international stage, these are the ongoing processes on the international stage. And this is the reason behind this is because weather and climate are so dynamic in nature. They wait for no one, especially when it comes to extreme events. So by 2030, all nations are expected to submit a revised nationally determined contribution. Probably in the revised, they have to appraise how successful they have been in the former one, and probably include a new ambition in the revised version. So, to conclude, it is no longer news that climate crisis is becoming a national security crisis in African countries. The lakes are shrinking, our lakes are shrinking. Our rivers are becoming more of seasonal rivers. And all these are aiding migration, either legally or illegally. And if the migration is illegal, it results into conflict. Our climates are becoming more and more vicious and are affecting critical national infrastructures, thereby making maintenance to become more and more costly. We advocate for development of more weather and climate products. We are encouraging it in line with massive capacity building. Then engagement of stakeholders in co-production and critical reasoning in the formulation and production of all these new climate products. And lastly, I have always been an advocate of the development and use of early warning and early action for it. And this can be achieved through legal, I repeat, legal encouragement of weather and climate products. One way or the other, we have to find a way to legislate to encourage legal uptake of our weather and climate products. Our National Met Service is doing an enormous job of creating this product, but they are just sitting down in the forecast office nationwide. It is when there is crisis that you see people running to Met Office. What does the weather say? What is likely to happen tomorrow? We shouldn't continue like this. That is where we must take seriously the development and the use of our early warning and early action for each and every one of us, in addition to legal uptake of weather and climate products. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Let's give a round of applause to our dynamic atmospheric physicist and erudite meteorologist. That's a fantastic presentation. Kudos. We come to the point now where we ask questions and also interactions. Maybe you have something to add or to say to what he has said. But if you're on the system there, you can just put your fire something to rise, you know, to congratulate Dr. Kamoru Abiodun-Lawal for this beautiful presentation. Right, I can see it going on already. So now time has come for questions. Abiodun, let me see people when they raise up their hand. Let's see how to. Please, if you have a question or have a contribution, just electronically raise your hand. And here we will, you know, I've seen one already there. Who is that?
Dr. Tosin.
Dr. Tosin, I think you are number one. And we will take you as with other people who have question or contribution will raise their hands and we'll go on there. Dr. Tosin, please unmute your microphone.
Noisy place. I'm going to make it very short.
Sorry?
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Yeah, I'm in a noisy place, but I'm going to make it very short. Thank you very much for the opportunity. That was a wonderful presentation. Mine is a comment. I just want to say that I think the gulf between science and politics, we must begin to close up this gulf. It's a case between environmentalists and industrialists. I believe some of the lacunas or the gaps that we're experiencing are actually based on industrialists trying to maybe reduce some of the, maybe they call it noise from the environmentalists. But somehow we as researchers or scientists, we believe that it's good to take precautions than to allow risk to crystallize. So I want to, on the basis of this platform, to say that as scientists, we must begin to do more in the area of visibility, make ourselves visible, reach out to politicians or those that are in charge of making decisions, policymakers. We must embed ourselves, go into politics, such that some of these facts that we know, that we have, we are able to project them beyond what we are doing at the moment. But I think so far so good. We are doing well, but we have to do more. Thank you.
Yeah, Tosin, I think I agree with you. And Dr. Lawal, Kamoru, you can see that your presentation can actually be made in a concise manner and give it to content creators. And it will go, you know, viral on the, what do you call it, on social media. That's one of the things Dr. Tosin is talking about. And that's where we're lacking. It's good to be in the published papers and things like that, but things like this should go. There are so many content creators that are willing and will be happy to get this and they push it out to the public. Thank you, Dr. Tosin. I think the next person, please help me to the other person there.
That's Dr. Vincent Oje.
Dr. Vincent Oje. Maybe, I don't know if the president has something to say with what Tosin said.
Let them go.
Okay. Vincent Oje, please go ahead.
All the way from Taraba.
All the way from Taraba. Where is
Wow. Good afternoon, sirs. My profs and Dr. Lawal for that wonderful presentation. Yes, there's a whole lot that needs to be done. Like the party mentioned, NIMET climate prediction sits on the tables or on the shelf of NIMET until there's a major issue. And the issue of governance and politics, I think for me, one thing I've noticed is that the people in the Ministry of Environment, most of them are now integrating climate change into the ministry. And you see them employing people claiming to be climate, or still employing environmentalists claiming to be climate change also specialists. So I'm thinking this may go beyond this presentation to even the association or the society itself. Nobody will blow this trumpet by ourselves. I notice there is a code for practice for engineers. You have Nigerian Society of Engineers. Recently, I saw Nigerian Society for Mechanical Engineers. I saw Nigerian Society for Civil Engineers. Why are they doing so? So that their voice will be held. On the legal implementation, now, it's still the metrologists that will do the science. Now, to pass this information, you pass through the Herculean task of trying to make the politicians understand what you are saying. So I am thinking, the other day I saw, either it's from FUTA or another university, I saw communication physics. I am thinking that the science of meteorology and climate science should have a course. I don't know how it should come, but since FUTA leads in this space, should have a course on communication meteorology, where this now bridges the gap of where policy and governance now comes in. Then
this semester, you know, to do it. Bring in people.
So bridging the gap of policy and governance, so that when these things are presented, it will be easy for people in this place to that, because the issue of governance is also what is making it very difficult for people to agree on whether climate. Up till now, even when we have the evidence, some people still believe. I imagine myself in a meeting where the commissioner was, a permanent secretary was saying that it is just of recent that he believes that this issue of climate change is real and is affecting the health of the people. Because those in the medical sense, they bring them, they treat fever, but they don't link it up to this. But I believe if we can train people that will occupy this space, this information will be disseminated well, because what is actually hampering most of this thing is maybe malinformation, not just disinformation, but malinformation. I think that's my contribution. I want to congratulate their society and Dr. Lowa and my professors. Thank you very much, sir.
Prof? Prof, we cannot hear you. It's like you are muted. You are muted, Prof.
Well, I have finished speaking. What I
said. Sorry, Dr. Vincent, I was saying thank you for a fantastic contribution. There was a technical glitch, not the type of NIMET, of INEC. So, Dr. Wale Sawyer, please, can you unmute yourself and then make your contribution?
Better if you also unmute his video.
And unmute your video so that we can also see you. Yes, Dr. Wale.
Yeah,
Dr. Wale Sanya, please unmute
Okay,
your,
sir.
you are unmuted now. You can go on
I'm
speaking.
unmuted.
Go
My
ahead, sir.
video. Okay, you wanted me to unmute my video. I'm driving actually. I just parked. I am
Okay,
not
go
a
ahead.
doctor. I am not a
Okay,
doctor, but I'm just a mister.
okay,
Dr. Kabor is my classmate in the university, a year senior. But my concern,
What is it?
is yes, I finished the photo. My concern, I'm a
Oh.
geologist. My concern is this: I've been practicing engineering and I'm in the oil and gas. You know, we talk about gas flaring, and we talked about construction activity in the oil and gas. But from the lecture I just listened to by Dr. Kamal, it widens whatever ideas I have. For example, NIMED needs to start looking at advising civil engineers, advising mechanical engineers. For example, when you have a material and there is a change in weather, there's probability of affecting those materials in terms of corrosion. For example, yes, in terms of corrosion, for example, you could when there is a drop in the water level, or when there is an increase in the water level in an environment, the corrosion activity may be very hard in time mixed with weather. Also, when you look at the civil section, in terms of house building, we're having a lot of collapsed houses, and we are relating it to material usage, but we are not relating it to weather change. The effect of expansion of the material that were used in building those buildings. You have the sand, you have the cement. Over time, some areas can be expansion. This expansion can, if it's not elastic, it can cause crack in the building. An excessive part of that crack, it can also cause when the foundations of those areas are not subjected in terms of the nature at which they were built, the weather conditions keep changing. So please, I want to advise NIMET. I'm not a member, but I just had to log in because of my friend Kamal. That's the area, he knows the business I've been through over the time. So please, in terms of the politics behind it, let us be intentional to link other professionals to be able to sell the information so that they will not be narrowing down to just looking at an effect, whereby the effect can actually be a weather. For example, if I build a house and I don't put a tree or small trees, I don't put something to control a bit of my weather, it could also affect me. So most of these things are things that we need to go across profession to be able to have a good effect or whatever knowledge. From listening to this now, it has changed my perspective. There are some implications that I'm going to put in place in terms of procedures, in terms of, to my clients, which I'm going to put in place. So this is just my submission. Thank you very much. Dr. Kamoro, thumbs up to you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Wale. Very much.
Prof, before you come in, let me just make a little response to what Wale said. You see, NIMET is doing a great job. Even though I've left NIMET many years ago, but I know they are still doing a very great job. Okay, take for example, we all witnessed when a storm blew off the velodrome at Mushood Abiola Stadium during the All African Games. Yeah, the contractor ran to NIMET for explanation. We asked him, what was the threshold you used for your velodrome to withstand a squall?
Oh, sorry.
The contractor used 40 knots. When climatologically we have experienced about 87 knots over Abuja, and we could have even given him the range of possibilities, but they never approached NIMET when they were building that stadium. The same thing happened to Julius Berger some years ago. They couldn't meet the delivery date to hand over a road construction. So when the ministry was about penalizing them, they ran to NIMET so that we can assist them with climate data they can use to defend themselves before the committee, Federal Executive Council. So personally, I was among those who followed them to the site on getting to the site, we found out that the type of soil they are constructing that road on can withstand certain millimeter of rain, after which it becomes waterlogged, and their machinery will not be able to operate freely. If NIMET has been consulted over that, we could have advised them and assisted them and keep updating all their information for them. But, you know, in this part of the world, like one of my friends said, he said, we like free things. Well, we have to realize that even in Freetown, the lunch is not free. So that is why I'm saying that we need to legislate legal encouragement of weather and climate uptake. Maybe not until when that is done. Many things will not change in this country. I submit, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Very, very plenty, like they say. And Wale, we thank you for coming in because of your friend. And then we can see also that you have opened our eyes. You know, this webinar was also advertised to other professionals, but you have chosen to be here because of your friend. Thank you very, very much. Abe, who is the next person? Raise hand. Is there any other person raising hand? Or we call Dr. Lawal to now make that. Oh, okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you raise your hand. Oh, but it's not on your hand. Okay. Okay, please go ahead, unmute yourself and go ahead. Introduce yourself and then go ahead and make a contribution.
Yes, I'm unmuted already.
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I said I'm
We can hear you.
Okay, but plus introduce us. Okay. Oh, that's a lot. Sorry,
Thank you very much, sir. I want to congratulate Dr. Kamar for his brilliant platform. Number one, saying our experience has been most especially on the temperature increase in Ilori, Kwara State. It has been terrible. In fact, I've never seen it like this since I was born. Okay. It has been very hot. Everybody is tired of the heat. So I don't know what's going to be, maybe by the end of this 2026, 2026 will be recorded as the work. I wouldn't know. That is that. My appeal, my comments. Is unprecedented, most especially when it comes to climate financing. I've heard this several times, I've read it, but it's like there's nothing the government is doing. Question now is there anything you can, any step we can take? Any step you can suggest that women can take so as to remove this anomaly? Because as everybody knows that this climate crisis, children most. And so in that is period, just as we have stated, that you know, we're under what step can we take to really remove this anomaly? Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Is there any other hand up before we got back to Dr. Kamoru to take care? Is there any other hand that's up? Okay. Dr. Kamoru, can you address some of those things?
Thank you, Prof. Ms. Rhoda, you see, on the aspect of you experiencing...
Professor Larewaju.
Professor Larewaju, sorry.
Right.
On the issue of this excessive heat in Ilorin, at this time of the year, that should be expected. You know, climatologically, Nigeria is divided into 3 climatological zones: the Gulf of Guinea, the Savannah, and the Sahel. The Gulf of Guinea experiences the primary peak of temperature in February and March. Okay. While the Savannah, the transition zone between the Gulf of Guinea and the Sahel, experience their own within March and April.
I understand.
And I believe Ilorin fall in Savannah. So
yes.
I'm not a prophet of doom, but it's just starting.
Okay.
And you will enjoy it till April.
Okay.
You will enjoy it till April. You see, the unfortunate event is that it's getting more and more extreme every year.
That's okay. Talk gentle.
So that's why I said I'm not a prophet of doom, but you will experience it till April, after which you will have some relief. Okay. Then for the secondary peak around November again, before the harmattan sets in. So what is happening now over Ilorin is normal. Very, very normal. The unfortunate thing is that it's getting more and more intense every year. That is just the unfortunate thing.
Ilorin people enjoy, my prof. Ilorin people enjoy the Jalingo.
See, it's much. It's just too much. I've never seen it. I've never felt it like this before.
41 degrees
Celsius. No, just keep enjoying it while it lasts, Prof.
Okay, do you have any comment for the other previous contribution? I know you have talked about wireless phone.
Yes, like I was saying, the NIMET is becoming more and more equipped year by year. Before I left, we make sure we establish numerical weather prediction units, which is feeding all the other technical arms of the agency. And we have very capable marine units as well. So for engineer like Wale, our marine units should be able to help you out in whatever kind of information you so desire, starting from the tide up to the wave height, wave swell, everything the marine unit is capable. We also have air pollution monitoring units in NIMET. I'm sure the unit is waxing stronger, although it's just taking off when I was leaving, but I'm sure by now it must have become stronger. So, and that is why I said so many information are sitting on the table in the agency. And not until people are compelled to go and seek for this information. You don't expect NIMET officials to start hawking forecasts as if we are hawking mango. It's not done like that. Although there are more they can do to make people aware that they have this and so information. But people need to make efforts, probably because they are thinking they may be charged. Yes, nothing good comes free or easy. You will be charged. So, Mr. President, I submit, sir.
Before I hand over to the president to make his final closing remark, let me also say this. I'll ask you this as a former NIMET person, and maybe NIMET officers that are here, or former or present. If you go to the streets of London, if you have a meteorological eye, you will see sensors all over the place. I'm sure it's like that in South Africa. You see sensors, and they are not put by London Met Office. Some of them are put by private individuals. Some of them are put by local government, whatever they call their own over there. But if you come to Nigeria, everything revolves around NIMET. When we are talking about uptake of data, my mind was going something different from what you were saying. I was thinking that NIMET should encourage people to have, data points all over the place and then guide their usage. Several years ago, we had a conference at the University of Sokoto, at Mandapodio University. I canvassed this. In there they have measurement platform. Here we have measurement platform and many other places. Even in institutions, there is hardly any cooperation between NIMET and them. Okay, Professor Lariwaju was talking about the temperature in Ilorin. I'm sure that if there were a lot of this thing there, she would have put value to it. She only said high. We don't know how high it was. When we are talking about the one in Nigeria, where you put value to it. So this is what we should be making people Nigerians to be able to put value to some of these things. So it should not just be about climate. What do you say about this?
Well, I believe NIMET, even though their role constitutionally is being relegated to advisory role only, but they don't stop anybody from installing anything they so desire they want to install. And I remember there are many occasions where we have to help some agricultural farms who want to have automatic weather gadgets on their farms. I remember we have to go and help them to do some installations some years back, and even brought some of their equipment for recalibration at our headquarters. So NIMET is, in fairness to NIMET, they are doing tremendous job. But I believe the awareness is not enough. That is just the gap. The awareness is not enough, but NIMET is doing a tremendous job. And for you to be able to do more than you are currently doing, you need serious funding. And that is where the problem comes from. That is where the problem comes from. The issue of funding. I think more than 80% of NIMET is being generated only from the aviation sector presently. So you can see what I'm saying. So there should be more awareness among Nigerians that they are at liberty to install in their compound, install in their corporate entities, whatever they want to install. NIMET is very, very much ready there to assist them. I may not know the policy of NIMET of today, but I've seen some of their officers online now. If they so wish to tell us what their policy is, they are free. This is a scientific gathering. Nobody is going to crucify you. Please share your policy with us, please. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any NIMET person wanting to speak before I turn over to the MFS president to give closing remark? I will draw the curtain for this webinar. Is anybody raising a hand? Okay. Mr. President. Yes. That's what? There's no name on it. Okay. Yeah, the person raising a hand, I think it's your phone number that is there or whatever.
Xiaomi or something.
Xiaomi.
Okay, please can you unmute and speak?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, this is Abani Ali Ahmad, African Center of Meteorological Application for Development.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
And, congratulations, Dr. Lawal, for this brilliant presentation. I would like to raise a point related to dissemination of the adequate scientific information to the decision makers, sector by sector. If we try to look at the whole chain from production to dissemination of the information, we are seeing that there might be some gaps in the adequate dissemination of the information produced at the right time. So that's why we would like to think of platforms or user platforms by sectors, where this scientific and critical information will reach each sector on time so that they integrate it into their decision systems. That will really help, because if we rely only on NIMET or a MET service in general to satisfy everybody's needs in terms of weather and climate information for either disaster reduction or any other application, definitely there will be gaps. Either the information may not reach them on time, or the information may be presented using, I would like to use one word when he say politics, because sometimes we don't want to frighten the community by giving the deep implication of the scientific information, but just roughly sharing the information with caution, so that community will not be like in trouble or will not see it otherwise. That is politics in sharing a scientific information. But weather and climate has a particularity. They don't have border, they don't have tribe, and other. They affect some regions. So we have to consider all those aspects in delivering such informations. So I would like to just look at it into improving the adequate dissemination of those information produced. Otherwise, thank you very much, Dr. Lawal, for this brilliant presentation. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Yeah, merci.
Dr. Lawal, do you want to say anything on that, or do we bring in the vice president?
To thank you.
Okay.
I'm just reading the comment from Dr. Vincent here, asking NIMET if it's possible to have desk office from selected higher institutions in Nigeria. Well, I think some NIMET officials are seeing this, and I'm very sure they will take it up. It's a very good suggestion, Dr. Vincent.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure they will, because that had been canvassed, like I said earlier, right over there in Sokoto. That's about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. But if they will do that, would be good, you know, and that will enrich, the data coverage. Yes. Thank you very much. I invite the President MFS to close us with his closing remarks.
Well, let me thank very much. Okay, is my camera on? Can you? Can it focus? Let me thank you so much. I want to join others on behalf of Nigerian Medical Society to thank our lecturer for the day. Like I said, he's somebody into the science of it. He has also been in the profession. So he combines two in one. We want to really appreciate the work. You know, what I appreciate most is that it's calm and cool.
Yeah.
And he was doing it scientifically. He was also doing it professionally. And then I now begin to see the administrative or the politics of it. So you can see that our own Kamaru Lawal has grown this system. He can lay his hands on so many buttons now. We are very grateful for this. I'm not so happy that many of our colleagues who should have been here are not here. But this is being recorded by, I want to thank the IT, that's our own Mrs. Abiola. She has done, Abiola has done a fantastic job. This is the IT officer Waska, but somehow we have made her IT officer of NMS. She has not complained. She doesn't pay salary. And we want to thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I want to appreciate the convener, the chair of this committee. We can say it's a one-man committee because others are not active. And yet he's on his feet, he's running like Elijah. Thank you so much, sir. I want to go back to our erudite lecturer of today. We want to thank you because, in fact, we can call this lecture international because right from Ahmad, Niger, we found somebody, and you're also able to bring in Wale Sanya, your friend. That is great. Let me say that the Nigerian Medical Society is working hard. Yes, we went for a meeting just before now at the college or school level. Some people are complaining about the fact that some scientists are not recognized, like engineers who are current registrars. Well, that is true to some extent. But I think we need to do more advocacy, and that we must do. We must do it at the different universities. I'm happy that many of us are coming from universities. We are also talking to people in the national medical agencies, like our NIMET here. We need to join hands together to do something on our own. What we are doing now is to work so hard. A committee is already working on professionalizing and bringing up a legal framework for medical service in Nigeria. I think professionally that we can talk about chartered meteorologists, and this will involve us going to the National Assembly so that everyone will know that for you to practice this profession, you need to be chartered, just like people are chartered accountants or even legal or medical professionals. That will help us to have a voice. But in the meantime, we need professional voices everywhere. And we want to talk to Mr. Wale Sanya, if he's still there, because you see, we're talking about accountability. Accountability means that there should be certain litigation right now in Nigeria. Some people, the gas flaring that we're talking about is still going on. There are still some environmental damages here and there, and people are just keeping quiet. Yes, in the South, they talk about it. But the issue is that we should start a campaign. Who pays when there is environmental degradation? And particularly the one that is causing azotic pollution or some other damages, because weather does not know any boundary, like the erudite professor or speaker of today. We find that in many countries, 2025 and 2025 is seeing a rise, just like temperature rising. Litigation, they are taking government they're taking the government up and saying, look, what are you doing? They're taking people up and societies and companies up. But in Nigeria, we're not doing enough. So it is time to rise for legal and political accountability. And then when it comes to justice, we need to do more in terms of justice, because unless we really stand up, UNEP and IPCC is already talking about this. The justice, those of us in the third world countries, like the speaker said, we are the receiving end, whereas we contribute less. So what is the justice you're talking about? We need to talk more. Some countries, just 1% of what they spend on so many other things are enough. 1% is enough for our women and other vulnerable groups to have something. So we need to talk about the ethical, the legal, the political stakes. We need to, in fact, educate our people in Abuja and other places. So WASCA, I'm sure WASCA is also listening. We can bring up courses and bring experts and so on. Let our people in Senate and House of Representatives, let them attend some courses. And well, if they want to go abroad for them to visit like Reading and other something, that's fine. They must be up and doing and understand what we're talking about. So that I then give them certificates that they are now registered to talk properly, because many of our senators and some of them are legal experts, but they cannot talk, professionally at the world stage because we are not. And then one thing I find also interesting, I remember many years ago when I was VC, many journalists were complaining. You see, you scientists, you're not talking. Climate experts, you're not talking. We don't hear from you. You're not empowering us. The group that we should empower so much are the journalists. They will do a lot of things for us. In fact, they are the one I can call hot buttons, because when they write things up and so on issue of responsibility, legal framework, and all these, others will, whether they like it or not, they will engage with us. So on this note, I want to thank everyone, but we still need to do a lot more. Let me remind us that by the 30th of this month, we are gathering at UNILAG, Department of Meteorology, and housed by the Geography Department in UNILAG. We are gathering on Monday, that's day 1, Tuesday, day 2, and then day 3 will round up with, it might be on Tuesday or Wednesday, 31st or 1st, we're going to have an AGM. So please, let everybody begin to plan towards it. If you're not submitted your abstract, you can still do so. Let us plan to attend. We are actually appealing and begging all those who are registered with us as members to please come to Lagos, UNILAG. All right, if you want to book accommodation and all this, the people who are over there and those of us also who are LOC members will put more information on the platform. Please, let us do so, because it's just some few weeks. Let us give it all that is necessary. Secondly, there is another one, that is the African Meteorological Society. Now, the point is that once you're a member of Nigerian Meteorological Society, you're automatically a member of the African Meteorological Society. And after our own conference, that conference is taken up, coming up on the 20th of 19, 20th, 21, 22 in Addis Ababa. So please let us also attend that, and there's a room for you to present online. Let's be active. If you're a professor, you jobs in your university is not good enough. If you are also a meteorologist, it's not just good enough to be in NIMET. You need to collaborate with others. On this note, I want to thank again the organizers. I want to thank Professor Emmanuel Okogwe for the wonderful job he has done. We want to thank our erudite, it's not in university, but maybe he will come back. That's both. Yeah. He started from here. And I'm happy that Wale Sanya was also here. You see, we want to be professionals and we also want to be scientists. I think you should come back to Futa. Futa will actually appreciate you after you finish from Atlas. All right? We don't want to go to US or UK or something. Please come to us. We need people like you as part of the process of encouraging the young ones. You are not old, you are not young. So you are that a bridge. Yes, and abridged, enriched, and empowered to talk to both the old and the younger ones. So thank you so much for everyone. The LOC chairman will be reaching us, Professor Akimbobola. We also have online many people that I cannot mention all their names who have been working behind the scene for the conference. Apart from Dr. Akimbobola, we have other members. The Secretary General, is still there. That's Secretary General JP Nathaniel Asiboku. I see Ansekwebo is still there. And we also have people. I'm asking, our own Vincent Oje, he's the president of WASCA alumni. Please, we want to see you in Lagos. All right. We're also asking others to join hands with us. Director WASCA, please be there. Lami Torre, that's Gambia. Can you see that you are international? Yeah. That's Lami Torre as the director of the medical agency in the Gambia. So we want to thank you for being here. Please let us come together to Lagos and make it a wonderful time. On that note, sir, I want to thank you God bless you all.
Thank you.
God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Mommy,
Thank you.
you have such a wonderful voice, so people take you to be a small girl. You are still young.
You mean Professor Lariwaju?
Yes.
That's right.
So we look forward to the 8th edition of.
Prof, next time you need to activate your video. Next time, Prof.
Yes, so that you can see that.
Maybe you need to do it now so that we can record your face into our
Good
afternoon.
Okay.
I see the face.
Are you thinking about me?
Yeah. So we have people here. Amechi Stanley, Attorney Babatunde. We have so many people who are over there online. Aminu Mohammed, Professor Abel, Jibola, and co. Man, this is wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you all. Mine. Can you see Patricia Hemile? Okay, that's
Patricia from
can we say perception at Okoloye? Well, your face for so long. Even our Secretary General is hiding his face. Let's see your faces. Okay, okay, that's good. That's great. Director Walker, thank you. Dr. Mrs. Yeri, thank you. Oga Vincent OJ, thank you. William Timothy, JP, thank you. So you can see me now, Dr. Lawal.
Yes, sir.